Oh hi, well my name's Pauline again. I'd like to show you really my pride and joy. I found this in a tip, in one of our local tips that somebody was throwing away. It was broken, it was just a mess really. So I created the front, I replaced the doors, done some windows, done some little window boxes and created some flowers to put in the front. But then moving inside, which is something I really love. I've always loved working with doll's house and miniatures. This is a 1/12 scale doll's house, and as you can see, I've created lots and lots of rooms, and also a lovely part of what I did with this house was actually light it. So I'll just show you it lit up. So I just love the lighting. This light's out at the moment because one of the bulbs has gone and I can't replace it at the moment. But each room I kind of go around with detail. I make most of the pieces myself. I do buy a few bits and pieces from sort of traditional doll's house places, but then usually create the images myself. I kind of love the bathroom. I think that worked really well with one of the little dolls that I found, which I kind of made and redressed. But my favourite rooms are probably the sewing room. I created a little cabinet here. We're sticking lots and lots of different images of little magazines and pictures, creating the little sewing boxes and that, and just something that I think somebody would have in their sewing room, lots and lots of little odd bits and pieces. It's a little bit like my art room really. I've got here just a little model for dressing up where she would make and sew and put the dress on, and just a little chair here with just a bundle of fabric, just to give it reality really of what it actually is. Moving over to the kitchen, I've sort of created an old style kitchen. The fireplace really lights up, and I just love all the little bits and pieces, and the dog with its bones and things like that. Over here I sort of will show you some of the things that I personally make. I started off making a little tiny teddy bear, which then grew into a lot more detail, and then I played around with it and made the little rabbit and squirrel, which I think is particularly cute. Going over to here, this is some of the things that I've made for the kitchen. So obviously we've got a plate of food, that's just a little plate with clay and just painted to resemble food. A little tiny glass jug using resin and mixing with some colour orange just to give it this look of, there's actually some orange juice within it. A tiny little loaf of bread with a little knife, just to look, made again from clay and just painted. And a little bowl with some resin to look like eggs, and a tiny little whisk that I've used some beading and metal shaping to create a little whisk. Over here again I use resin to create a goldfish bowl, and I actually make these tiny little fish with just clay in a little mould. Over here again I looked at making perfumes. I found this one, you know, nice but a bit dull, so I kind of livened it up a bit and put a little comb and mirror in it and using different beads, and basically playing around with different beads to get different little items, and then eventually creating this tiny little jewellery box. And here this is just soap and little boxes for the bathroom, and really this is what I love doing. I love creating scenes and worlds. Ever since I was a little girl I always longed for a doll's house. Oh, and now the lighting, there was really no lighting in here. You could see that there had been some lighting, so some sort of was there, but this is all soldered from the back, so you use an amp to attach it to the back of this doll's house with soldering wire, and basically thread them through and solder them. This is something I have really loved doing, to giving it actual life and making it look like a real home. The different lighting I could use in the bedrooms and in the bathrooms to give it a much more dramatic look. And now I'm really kind of hooked on doing lighting now for a lot of other projects. And really this is it. This is just the things that I really love to do.